What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Fireside Giants. I'm your host, Anthony Rivardo, joined by my co-host, Alex Wilson. Scataboo! Happy Victory Friday. The New York Giants beat the Philadelphia Eagles last night, and I am hyped up, and I know you guys are hyped up too, and I know Alex is hyped up as well. The Giants finally beat the Eagles, man, and they got a couple studs in that backfield. Jaxson, Dart, Cam, Skattebo. The future is bright for the New York Giants. Alex, how are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing really good, man. That was the most unexpected result I could have asked for. Yesterday, I reamed the Giants. I tore them to shreds, the ownership and management and everything. And then they were like, hold my beer. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll hold it. They freaking showed up to play. And listen, we're going to talk about this team. We're going to talk about Jaxson, Dart, Cam, Scott. We have a live stream today as well, so make sure to tune in for that. Or if it's already passed, make sure to go back and watch it, because we want to react to what we just witnessed. And what it felt like to me was a changing of the guard, a change of an era. But one thing, Anthony, that Jaxson Dart said after this game really stuck with me. And I think that it should stick with all of you too, because it does give me hope and faith that this is just the beginning of a really bright future. And he said, I don't know what happened in the past, but that's not my story. That's what Jaxson Dart came out and said after. It's not my story. That's not my past. I know there's negativity around this building. I know there's people talking smack and talking shit, but that's not mine to bear. And that's what I want from him. I want him to step on that podium and say, none of that crap, none of that nonsense, that losing mentality is mine. Don't give that shit to me, because I want to win football games. And he put his body on the line yesterday. So much to break down from this game, but just the most effort I've seen from a Giants organization, Giants team in a decade. That was the best effort I've seen across all three phases of a football game from this team in a very long time. I can't remember the last time we saw that type of effort from everybody. Cam, Scataboo, Jaxson Dart inspired everybody. Two rookies willing to put their bodies on the line to win a football game. Everybody felt that energy and everybody reciprocated it. That is a special type of skill, one that goes under the radar, the ability to inspire others by your performance. That's special, man. We got something special in these two kids.
Oh, yeah, we do. I love that quote that you just mentioned. I love Jaxson Dart, man. I believe in this kid. I have always believed in this kid, and seeing what he's doing right now with this Giants team, really, they should be 3-0 with him as a starter. They beat the Chargers. They beat themselves in Week 5 against the New Orleans Saints. And honestly, you look at the Giants this season, all their losses, they handed to themselves. They just beat themselves. They're inconsistent, but they're young and they're growing. This is a very youthful football team all across the board. You have young foundational pieces and starters, including Malik Neighbors, who's not on the field right now. He's on injured reserve, but keep in mind, kid's 22 years old? Man, the future is bright. They got a rookie quarterback who's got the juice. They've got Cam, Scatta, boom, in the backfield, rookie running back with immense potential. Hat trick last night. What a performance from the rookie. Malik Neighbors is only in the second season of his career. He's going to come back strong next year. And on the defensive side of the ball, Kayvon's young. Brian Burns is even still young, I would say. You've got Abdul Carter. You've got young pieces in the secondary like Cordell Flott. What a game from him yesterday for the full-time CB2. No longer rotation with Deonte Banks. He's relegated to the bench. Fine, I don't care. I love what I'm seeing from Cordell Flott and the effort of that Giants defense yesterday. That was unlike anything that we've seen so far this season. They put in the work. Hats off to them. And hey, shout out to the damn offensive line. The offensive line has been playing some good football in recent weeks, especially last night. Jaxson Dart was upright, and there were some holes for Cam Scataboo to run through. Oh my goodness. I mean, I haven't seen Giants offensive line play like that since the Eli Manning 2008 to 10 era. It's been a long freaking time since we've gotten offensive line performances like the ones that we're getting so far this season. So shout out to Carmen Brasillo. Major shout out to Andrew Thomas. He's been on the field for like 86 pass blocking snaps, 95, whatever the number is, it doesn't matter. He doesn't have a single pressure surrendered so far this season. Absolutely incredible work being put in by the blindside protector, Andrew Thomas. And also, Alex, I mentioned this on last night's live stream. Jaxson Dart, he was sacked twice last night. He lost 1 yard on those 2 sacks combined. This kid is also helping the offensive line because the poise that he has in the pocket. You want to talk about impressive young quarterbacks. Quarterbacks that get you hyped up. Quarterbacks that make you believe in a dying franchise. Those are quarterbacks who hang in the pocket and they make those throws under pressure. They navigate that pressure. They extend plays on their own. That's Jaxson Dart, baby. This kid has it, man. He's got the X factor. He's got the it factor. When the pocket breaks down, when there's nobody open, that doesn't faze him in the slightest. 3rd and 8, 3rd and 12, 3rd and long, 4th down, doesn't matter. There is no amount of pressure that's too much for Jaxson Dart. I love the way this kid plays football, man. The Giants got one of them ones right there with that rookie quarterback.
You know Anthony's excited when he's grunting like a little warthog. It's hilarious.
I do my Scataboo impression, man. You know Scataboo, before the game, he probably stands there up against his locker,
just bashing his head against the wall.
Bashing his head into the locker. And bro, I'll tell you, yesterday I was watching that game. I was standing up in the living room. I started headbutting the wall. I was like, Skattebo, boom. Oh my God, I love watching this team play right now. I love Skattebo and I love Jaxson Dart.
Yeah, it was probably really awkward for your neighbors when your head just came flying through the wall. And now they're Giants fans because they know why. So listen,
I'm indoctrinating them.
Yeah, this is the way to do it. You got 2 exciting whites, really good stuff here for the Giants. And listen, let's talk about Jaxson Dart for a second, because there are some similarities that he showed yesterday that resemble some of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And we saw flashes of what could make him a superstar. Now, we're not going to talk about the coaching as much. We're not going to really go down that rabbit hole. We'll probably talk about it on the live stream more when we get into some more, nuanced questioning. But what Jaxson Dart yesterday was a multifold of positive progression in his game. The Saints game was crazy because it all kind of collapsed, and I think that rhythm compounded in a negative way. We saw what happens to Jaxson Dart when he finds that pace and rhythm in a positive way. He's borderline unstoppable, and we saw it over and over and over. The only drive that he stalled on was the one he came right back and after the concussion protocol. That was the only drive he did not just march down the field and embarrass the Eagles defense. That was the only time it didn't happen. So, when you're kind of looking at Jaxson Dart and what he did yesterday, the one thing that really inspired me the most is what he did when not only the pocket was collapsing, but the receivers were not getting open, and what he did when he was under pressure. And we have the glasses coming on, just incredible. So, listen, what I think Jaxson Dart did yesterday in what inspired me to think that he could be a true star, when things got bad for him in the pocket, he was able to navigate and able to escape and create positives out of negatives. On multiple occasions, there was nowhere to go with the football. His playmakers were not getting open. He had to drop his eyes, navigate the pocket. His ability to make quick turns and his agility bought him time. He was able to escape, run for first downs, and even that big touchdown to Wan'Dale Robinson was an escape artist move. Like, that's a trait that not many quarterbacks have. We've seen Josh Allen do it. We've seen, Patrick Mahomes do it. We've seen Lamar Jackson do it. There is not many players in the league that have the escape artist trait, if you want to use a Madden trait, escape artist trait that Jaxson Dart has. If he can dial that in and utilize that in a positive way and keep his body out of harm's way, this guy is going to be a star if the Giants position him to be. And not to mention, he made several throws with pressure in his face. That dime to Jalen Hyatt downfield that was dropped because his arm was getting held. So I'm not going to put the blame on Hyatt there, but he got the DPI as well. The throw he made to Theo Johnson, mid-air jumping as he was getting hit. I mean, this dude put all of the special traits that star quarterbacks have on display on Thursday Night Football to end a 10-year drought for the Giants. The guy looks like a franchise quarterback, not because of what he can't do, but because he can do. And he has special attributes. He's one of those special quarterbacks. If they let him thrive, if they position him to thrive, Jaxson Dart could be a guy that saves this organization. It's in the best interest of the NFL for the Giants to be great. It's in the best interest of everybody for the Giants to be great. From an economic standpoint, this dude has what it takes to be that type of player. And the past, it's not his. It's in the past. We're looking to the future now, and I'm excited to see what the Giants do to position him to be successful.
Oh, me too. Alex, there is one thing, I've said this many times on the channel before, anytime we talk quarterbacks, if we're watching film during the pre-draft, if we're just chatting bullshit and talking about the best quarterbacks in the NFL and just talking ball, there's one thing that I always say to you and I always say to the viewers and listeners of this channel. There is a singular trait that separates elite quarterbacks from the rest of the pack. Think about all of the top quarterbacks in the NFL, whether you're saying Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert. The best quarterbacks in the NFL have this one unteachable, rare, and unique trait: eyes in the back of their head. That is what separates an elite quarterback from the rest of the pack. And what we are seeing from Jaxson Dart should give you confidence because he plays like he has eyes in the back of his head. He can sense the pressure coming from any direction. This is something that's so difficult for young quarterbacks to learn. Go watch rookie film on any of the quarterbacks who've come out of the first round over the last 7 years, let's call it. Go watch the ones who became successful and then watch the ones who have not become successful or maybe became successful later down the line. But the ones who were successful early, eyes in the back of their head. The ones who weren't, didn't know how to sense pressure, took a lot of sacks, fumbled the football. That is the one thing that separates quarterbacks in this league is pocket presence and poise under pressure. And my God, does Jaxson Dart have that poise and that pocket presence, eyes in the back of his head. That's why I was confident in him when we watched this film at Ole Miss, and why I said this kid really does have some potential, because he can feel the rush and he can step up and he can extend plays. He can make plays on his own in a way that a lot of quarterbacks simply can't. There were so many questions about Jaxson Dart from guys who maybe didn't watch closely enough during the pre-draft process, saying, well, he played in a simple offense, he was a game manager, a system quarterback. No, he wasn't. Alex, I remember I was actually rewatching one of our live streams from like January this morning when we were breaking down some film on Jaxson Dart. Remember that play that he made when he threw the ball and got absolutely killed, and you made one of the best one-liners. You said, he looks like he got hit by a car. I mean, he was buried into the grass, but the ball was perfectly placed over a defender and into the receiver's hands. I mean, he got killed on that play, but we just saw that last night. We saw that at Ole Miss, and we said, you know what? This kid's actually a playmaker. He could do things most quarterbacks can't. And then last night, hangs in the pocket, takes a shot to the chin, and puts one on the chest of Theo Johnson. This kid's got that X factor. He's got the eyes in the back of his head, and he's got the poise under pressure. Those are the two things I always say. Poise, pocket presence. That's what makes a good quarterback an elite quarterback. That's what separates a good young quarterback versus the rest of the struggling young quarterbacks like Bryce Young and whoever you want to name as an example. These guys that take too many sacks, take too many hits. Jaxson Dart takes too many hits, but in a different way. Jaxson Dart lays out the hits, my brother. He doesn't take hits, he gives hits. Him and Cam Skattebo, they love to run through contact to pick up that extra yardage. And man, no nerfing Jaxson Dart. I don't want to hear it. I've been saying this for weeks. I don't want him to slide all the time. I saw him dive head first through contact and pick up a first down last night, and that got me hyped. That got me standing up in the living room feeling like I wanted to run through a wall. How do you think Jaxson Dart's offensive lineman felt? How do you think Jaxson Dart's playmakers felt watching him dive and spearhead through an Eagles defender and pick up a clutch first down, put his body on the line for his team? Now his team will put their bodies on the line for him. That is what you love to see from a young quarterback. Evel Knievel, that's what John Gruden called him. That's how he plays. And that's how I want him to keep playing. Keep being you, Jaxson Dart, because you are special.
Yeah, I mean, truly special. Look, there's a lot that Jaxson Dart will learn over the rest of this season. And I think one of the things that he will learn is how to dial back the plays that position him to get hurt. But I agree with you, going 100%, that effort is what inspired that team yesterday. I think that what we've seen the great players in the league, the great quarterbacks in the league, what they've learned is when to dial it up. Like when your team needs that momentum change, needs that bit of juice, he can dial that up and reinvigorate the entire team, kind of resurrect the whole team. That's his superpower, right? Not many players have the ability to say, watch this, I'm going to get my whole team back in this game, and then go out there and do something like that. I think as Jaxson Dart evolves as a player, he'll know when to turn it up, when to turn it on, because I don't think that the level of hits he's taking is sustainable for him. He almost got concussed yesterday. I do think that he will have to learn how to be a little bit more efficient and smart with what he does and when to do it. But he has it in his back pocket as a way to change the course of a game at any given moment. But at the same time, when he gets his playmakers back, when he gets Neighbors back, when he obviously gets another playmaker next, he's not going to have to be the guy that sacrifices himself all the time to be a catalyst. He's going to have a superstar receiver in Neighbors who, like you said, he's like 22 years old. He's going to recover fully from that ACL tear. Not concerned about Neighbors long term. They're going to probably draft another quarterback, rather receiver, if we're being honest. And listen, I kind of look at this team and I say, okay, yesterday I talked a lot about how I don't think Joe Schoen has done a really good job, and I don't think that Brian Daboll has done a good job, or this coaching staff has done a good job. The players did that, and I'm not going to say the coaching was bad yesterday, because it certainly wasn't. There was some timeout issues that Daboll definitely concerned me with a little bit, but the players elevated the entire game yesterday. The players really took that to another level with their energy. That was special. That was special. They wanted that more than anybody else, and they did it on their own in many capacities, right? It's not like Jaxson had open receivers running around the field the whole game. Like, he did a lot of that on his own. Cam Skattebo was running through people from pure freaking adrenaline and effort. That doesn't take schematics. That takes heart. You know what I mean? The Giants are winning games now because they have heart, and people are buying into that, and the players are buying into that. And listen, like, we'll see what happens in the future with this coaching staff, with everything. But one thing that we can depend on going forward is if they exert the effort that they have exerted the last, this past night in this past game, if they do that every single week and they can stay healthy through it, they're going to be a really difficult team to beat, right? Not many teams are playing with that type of intensity. Not many teams are playing with that type of effort. Not many teams are going to be able to match that type of intensity. They're going to be ground into the earth. By the time the fourth quarter comes around, we saw multiple Eagles players making business decisions when it came to tackling Cam Scataboo. I watched Adoree Jackson literally walk out of the way. I watched Blankenship just not try. I watched multiple players avoid Cam Scataboo at all costs because nobody wants to tackle that little freaking bowling ball, little Tasmanian devil-ass running back in the open field. They don't want to meet him in the hole. They don't want to see him in the open field. They don't want to catch his freaking crown of his helmet to their chest, because nobody wants to take that type of beating for 4 quarters. That's what Ezekiel Elliott did for years. That's what Ahmad Bradshaw did for years. He has all of that in him. He has all of that energy, all of that freaking power. That's his skill set. He will destroy you for 4 quarters until you don't want to tackle his ass anymore. It's a special talent. Not many players have the very particular nuanced skills that both Dart and Scataboo have. It's reinvigorated this entire organization.
Brother, I would pay money to let Cam Scataboo run through me. You're talking about these players don't want to be hit by him? Oh, I want to be hit by Cam Skattebo, baby. I want to know what it feels like. I want to be Cam Skattebo, man. All of us should want to collectively be Cam Skattebo. Cam Skattebo is New Yorkers personified. He is a New York Giants fans personified. What do we want to do? We want to punch you in the mouth. We want to ram our head through your fucking chest. We want to kill you like Cam Skattebo wants to kill you. I love watching this kid play football. He is a fan favorite immediately for me, for all New York Giants fans. And it's not even because he's so good, and he is so good. It's because of his personality. Like I've said, it's emblematic of New York Giants fans. His mindset, his demeanor, his personality. Jaxson Dart, too. These guys are not affiliated with the losing and the loser mentalities that the Giants had over the last few years. All of that losing, nothing to do with them. All they did in college was go to the playoffs, win big games, fight it out in the SEC, Jaxson Dart did. All they know is putting balls to the wall, playing high-level football, and that's what they're bringing here. And the culture reset that the Giants are getting this season is what they needed more than anything. Yeah, they needed a quarterback, a legit one. They needed a pass rush, a legit one. But more than any individual player, they needed a culture reset. And that's what they got with 2 key draft picks. First round pick, number 25 overall, Jaxson Dart, and 4th round pick, Cam Bowling Ball Scataboo. That's what the Giants needed, was that culture reset. And Alex, I got to throw some shots out here. You know what I'm about to say, man. You're talking about the Eagles making some business decisions. I saw this guy on the offensive side of the ball for the Eagles. He'd come in for a few plays, make a couple runs, and then he'd go sit on the sideline and nurse his little injured knee. Diddy Quan! Shout out to my boy Bad Dog if anybody was in there for the Giants Collective live stream yesterday. This guy had the balls to drop a documentary on Thursday to talk about, oh, the Giants screwed me over. I had a hurt knee when I was with the Giants and they wouldn't give me the contract that I wanted. I'm this blameless victim. Shut up, Diddy. Get off of the field. Go sit on the sideline. New York Giants just beat you, and man, did it feel good to beat Saquon Barkley in prime time. I can't stand that guy. I used to love him when he was on the New York Giants, but the way he's paraded around for the last 2 years to try and rub his Super Bowl win in the New York Giants face this offseason, trying to rub it in their face. Oh, they let me walk out of the door. You're all going to pay. We got Cam Scataboo, baby. We don't need you, Diddy Quan. Get out of here. We don't need no Saquon. We got Scataboo. That's how I feel about it, man. So, on the day that he has his little celebration, his little stupid documentary on Amazon Prime that nobody's going to watch, the Giants went ahead and beat him. That is poetic justice right there. And I am so happy that that was the end result of yesterday after that stupid documentary came out. Go Giants!
Belt to ass. That's all I saw last night. Belt to freaking ass. I have to say, we talked yesterday about how this team has learned how to lose. And I want to revise that statement, revise that quote slightly. The Giants knew how to lose. They don't know how to lose now. And the reason for that is because they have players who are not used to being losers. Jaxson Dart does not know how to be a loser. Cam Skattebo does not know how to be a loser. If you watched him at Arizona State, you saw a player that put that whole offense on his back. And now everyone's saying, we should have seen the obvious. Cam Skattebo was going to be a star. We tried to tell you. I was like, this guy, when we drafted him in the 4th round, I was like, the Giants just walked away with one of the steals of the draft. I remember we both said it verbatim. This is a freaking nutcracker of a player. You know what I mean? He is a monster. His attitude, his personality, he is a perfect fit for New York. He is the perfect type of player. Him and Jaxson Dart together are just two psychopaths that the Giants stuck on the field and say, go crazy. That's what football is. Football is not always supposed to be this highly nuanced, highly detailed thing. It can just be two guys playing football. It can just be two guys playing football and having fun and soaking in that light and using it as their superpower. You know what I mean? Not every game has to be won because you did all the little things correctly. Sometimes you just have guys who are winners and know how to win. That's what Josh Allen is. Josh Allen is not this extremely nuanced, perfectionist quarterback. He does it off crazy shit. That's what good quarterbacks do. They find crazy ways to win games. Jaxson Dart, Cam Skattebo, mental cases. Those are the type of players I want in the Giants. Absolute freaking mental cases. Put them in a bubble room and keep them there. I want their sanity lost for every Sunday.
You know who doesn't make those plays, become a superhero during the game? That fucking poet that plays for the Philadelphia Eagles, pardon my French. That guy sits there with his little book of phrases. After every single game, he's got some clever little words of wisdom and proverbs to share with players. I can't stand Jalen Hurts. That's a game manager if I've ever seen one. Him without the tush push. Jalen Hurts without a tush push, McDonald's worker. That's what he is.
Don't even get me started on the tush push yesterday.
Man.
4 straight tush pushes.
Can we get that shit out of my beloved sport? Please,
it's supposed to be. The NFL is entertainment. We're talking about a league that is designed for entertainment, and they're sucking the entertainment out of the game with some bullshit. The only way they could score was 4 straight tush pushes. Get that shit out of my game. Get that shit off the game. That's the only way they can win.
You want to talk about poetic justice? After they ran those 3-4 straight tush pushes, whatever, and scored that touchdown, they didn't score a single point from that point on in the game. Absolutely poetic justice. That was the football god saying, enough is enough. Sprinkling
even
down
the players know it's bullshit. You see them running to the sideline like we know that.
Oh, you can see AJ Brown getting pissed off that they're calling that play so many times. I mean, AJ Brown, diva. He had an okay game, I guess. Not really.
He's gonna get
traded. Reach the end zone.
He's gonna force a trade. Guaranteed.
You know what? I hope that he forces his release and that the Giants sign him because Jackson's going to make a stud out of that man. That's for sure. I would love to see AJ Brown and Malik Neighbors.
I want to put out there, guys. We had a guy in the practice squad for 5 weeks that already looked better than Jalen Hyatt and Lil Jordan Humphrey.
My guy, Lil Jordan.
Lil Jordan came to play yesterday. He had that one drop, and by the way, that drop was a gorgeous off-platform throw in the red zone from Jaxson Dart. Gorgeous. Nice play by the cornerback, to be fair. But, Lil Jordan Humphrey had a nice game yesterday. Do not let that go under the radar. And I would also like to proclaim my guy, Wan'Dale Robinson, had a freaking day yesterday.
Yes, he did.
He went
Yes, he
under
did.
the radar because of everything else that was going on. But that 35-yard freaking touchdown scamper was one of the best receptions we've had this season. Broke a
Yep.
couple tackles, got into the end zone. So while everyone was calling me freaking crazy for saying Wan'Dale Robinson's underrated, I think he's a guy that the Giants should consider extending. I think that he can be an asset for this team long term. I think you go out there, you draft another boundary receiver to pair with Neighbors, you keep Wan'Dale, you keep Illuminor, you use this draft to reinforce the offense, and you walk into next year with Jaxson Dart and a breadth of playmakers and say, here, buddy, you want to be a superhero? Here's your freaking your acquaintances.
Your Avengers.
Here's your Avengers, man. Here's everyone you need. You got the
Here's your
Hulk.
Justice League.
You got Scataboo's the Hulk. You got freaking this guy. You got that guy. You got this person and that person. The Giants have a chance to build something special here. The Giants have a chance to construct a team that maximizes this young stud in Jaxson Dart. They have some key pieces. They have the energy. I'm very curious to see what happens to this coaching staff at this point. If the players continue to elevate things like this, I mean, we saw Russell Wilson come on the field and immediately everything fell apart. So I think that Jaxson Dart literally is kind of pushing this boulder forward on his own alongside Scataboo and this defense, obviously. But like the players are rising above the limitations of the coaching staff right now, and I think that this is going to be an interesting season. Like things just got very interesting. I really am curious to see how things unfold when the year end comes. But one thing is for certain. They got some really good young pieces, and I'm inspired. I'm bought back in for the third time in 6 weeks. Like 1 week we're like, yeah, we're cooked. We're same old Giants, and the next week I'm like, okay, maybe we are a good team. Maybe we can be good. Maybe we are saved. We need to see a lot more. I'll finish my little kind of sequence there by saying we got to see a lot of consistency from this team. But we saw the upside of them yesterday, and it was a dominant force.
Yeah, the upside was absolutely on display last night. You're right. And while we wrap up, I will say this. The future is bright for the New York Giants because they have a quarterback and they have an absolute menace in the backfield next to him in Cam Skattebo. I can't wait to watch these two grow with the rest of the young players on this team. It is a very young football team, and young football teams, they have growing pains. That's what you saw last week versus the Saints. But when they're growing and when they're thriving, boy, it's fun to watch like it was last night as they smacked down the Eagles in prime time. Alex, it's been so long since the Giants have won a meaningful football game against the Philadelphia Eagles, and it finally happened last night. And Alex, that game last night put an end to a 10-year drought. The Giants hadn't won a primetime Thursday night football game in 10 years. The drought has ended. The well is no longer dry. The water is running. Thank you to Jaxson Dart and Cam Skattebo. But that's going to wrap this one up, guys. Make sure that you do tune in to our live stream today as well. Or if you missed that, catch the replay on it because we're probably going to go nuts in it. It's going to be a party. So do make sure that you tune into that. Make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Ring the bell so you don't miss an episode. And comment your thoughts down below in the comment section. If you listen on Apple or Spotify, make sure to leave us a 5-star review. And go ahead and follow us on all of our social media channels at Fireside Giants. And guys, please drop some Scataboos in the chat for me. We'll catch you all in the next one. Have a good one. And let's go New York Football Giants.